I chose the USA Games practice site, and this specific section is you have to drag the state to the correct location on the map. And this follows the majority of the principles of practice described in our book. It allows for plenty of practice for them to figure out how to learn where each state is. It's plenty of practice because literally you're putting every state in the United States in the right spot. It does provide effective feedback because if I put this Delaware, if I drag Delaware and I don't put it in the right spot,
Right.
it very loudly tells me when I was wrong and when I was correct, though it doesn't provide the explanatory feedback that the book talks about because it doesn't really tell me why I was wrong. It just, that's not the right spot and this is. So it does provide effective feedback, Principle 3. It doesn't really have a mixture of learning and practice. It's kind of all practice, but by doing the practice you are learning. It's very hands-on and active. It has the multimedia principles because you're using the computer, and it has auditory and visual elements as well without them being overwhelming or too much. But there isn't really any you're practicing on your own, so the examples, there really aren't any examples of them doing it for you. You're just practicing on your own. This website reviews the parts of speech. So the way it works is when you click on it, it takes you here, and they give you all of the examples of the parts of speech. So this is great in that it has explanatory feedback. It explains to you why, it really maps out the whole worked through example. Books are made of ink, paper, and glue. Books is a noun, and the subject of the sentence. It goes through and kind of goes through all the different prepositional phrases and objects and compound verbs and just gives you a sentence and all of these opportunities to figure out. So it has plenty of worked examples. When you, at the very end, it contains you can go and test yourself for the exercise. So it doesn't have the practice piece on this page. You have to click here. Okay. So here is where you get that opportunity to attempt to practice what you have learned. So I think there's a nice balance in practice, plenty of opportunities to practice. So Principle 1 is achieved. And I think there's a nice balance between examples and learning events and practice. So Principle 4 is covered. It's not really multimedia. There's no sound or imagery to go with it, but that's okay. I don't really think it needs it necessarily. And there's a good transition for Principle 6 from examples to practice. And I think the feedback, which is so crucial for Principle 3, is covered. So for question 1, the clown chased a dog around the ring and then fell flat on her face. I'm going to say ring is a noun, and it gave me some feedback. It wasn't really explanatory, but let's see if I pick the wrong answer. Maybe that will be more explanatory. So the geese indolently waddled across, so I'm going to say that is an adjective, because I'm sure that's wrong. Okay, oops. Nope, not really explanatory feedback. It's not going to tell me why it's an adjective, but at least I know that it's why this is not an adjective. It's not really explaining it to me, so it doesn't give explanatory feedback, but it does provide feedback.